It's me, Kenneth. So you guys might be wondering, okay, with Anne being here, then are we going to be doing another new launch? So today is going to be a little bit different. Am I right to say that? So we're going to be sitting down, we're going to have a conversation between the both of us about the upcoming EC in Pasir Ris. We all know Coastal Cabana.
Yep, and just to set the tone up front, this is not just a rush to buy kind of video. We'll walk through about the facts and the good points as well as the thing that we should take note of for this project.
So exactly, our goal is very simple today. After hearing what we have to share, you should have more clarity and not more pressure.
Yeah, so treat it as though you're sitting with us for a casual chat, and we'll go through the project, add in some context from what we see in the EC market, and you can decide for yourself
if it's worth it. So this video is divided into two parts. First, we will share about the details of the project, then including the location, the unit type, the price, layout, etc. So the second part is the more important portion where we will run through the project using our maps framework. So if you have already watched other videos about this project, you can just fast forward the video and see where does Coastal Cabana stand in our maps framework.
So now let's do a quick overview about the project.
So Coastal Cabana is a 99-year-old leasehold EC in District 18. Of course, we know that it is in Pasir Ris, Tampines region. So there are a total of 748 units in total, and the estimated TOP is around Q3 of 2028.
Yep, so preview is tentatively in December 6, 2025, and the booking date is on 17 January next year. So if you are thinking about it, maybe this is a good time to understand the project so you do not have to rush on the booking day itself. So before we even go into the layout and the prices, we always ask one thing: who's building this?
Correct. So developer track record is important. Coastal Cabana's developer Qing Jian has a solid history of delivering quality projects. So in terms of build quality, you talk about design, you talk about delivery timeline, and honestly I think we're quite comfortable with that. For example, they developed Jitscape, right, which we have seen multiple $1 million profit homes, and the highest even going up to $4 million profit.
Yeah, I'm quite sure that the landscape as well as developer quality plays a part in this, but that does not mean that every unit itself will become a jackpot like Jitscape, I feel.
Totally correct.
So however, I feel that this actually builds a strong foundation for long-term livability as well as value. Coastal Cabana sits in an established residential enclave in Pasir Ris. So nearby, what do we have?
I know. We have White Sand, we have like Pasir Ris Mall, we have Downtown East, and of course it is in this smaller neighborhood whereby you have Elias Mall, you have your Loyang Point.
Yep, so actually day-to-day, grocery shopping, makan, weekday activities, weekend activities is actually all quite convenient.
Totally. I think anyone that stays there will definitely surely enjoy themselves. So now one thing that people ask, is it next to MRT? What do you think?
I think it's no. It is not a doorstep MRT project itself.
Correct. So for someone who absolutely needs to walk out of your condo and straight into an MRT, this is something to consider about, right? Of course, but if your lifestyle is more car-based, right, or you're okay with a short bus ride, then I would say it's less of an issue. Okay, so also you'll be happy to know that Coastal Cabana is just next to Downtown East, which has free shuttle bus daily to and fro to Pasir Ris MRT.
Actually, that's not too bad, right? So we always tell our clients that you have to consider your own lifestyle, and if your whole family relies heavily on public transport every day, then maybe this is a real factor to consider. However, if you drive or you work hybrid, then probably you'll focus more on the whole neighborhood feel and amenities. Recently, have you been to Downtown East?
Yeah, I recently just went downtown East, and I must say I'm very impressed with how comprehensive it is. Like the multiple F&B shops, the supermarket, like they have Fair Price, they have Donkey, and even Wild Wild Wet. I mean, where else can you find Wild Wet other than there, right?
Yep.
Correct. So now, something that I really like about Coastal Cabana, right, is the site planning and the orientation. All the blocks, in fact, are all full north-south orientation. And in Singapore's climate, I can tell you, that's a big deal.
North and south facing, it is very comfortable. It gives more natural ventilation. It avoids the west and east sun. And definitely, there will be more daylight without having the strong glass, coming into the house itself.
I know. I think everyone in Singapore, we're all very afraid of the heat, right? The way the internal roads and facilities are laid out also helps shape which stacks are more peaceful, which ones face pools, and which might be the ones closer to road. So we won't cover every stack here, okay? But when we sit down with you one-on-one, this is the kind of thing that we will go into the detail about.
Now let's move on to the unit mix. Coastal Cabana offers 3 to 5 bedroom units, including premium, study, and flexi variations.
And I would say that this is really aligned with what we have been seeing all this while. In fact, the recent launches. So you can tell that the demand today is very much geared towards the 3-bedders for family, right? With 4 and 5-bedders for those who can comfortably afford, of course, for more space or multi-generation living.
Yeah, and I feel that one thing to note is that there is 748 units and there is 748 parking lots. So this is a 1-to-1, parking lot ratio, which is quite reassuring.
And that's very rare in today's situation. So a lot of newer projects are going below 1-to-1 ratio. I mean, so having enough lots for each unit is good from a practical point of view and also a long-term value point of view.
Yeah, I do agree as well. So now I think we can take a look at the facilities itself. I feel that this is quite a well-equipped family living facilities that we got here because we have 4 swimming pools. 4 swimming pools we do range from kids-friendly swimming pool to a proper 50 meters lap pool. We do have our tennis court, full-size gym. We have barbecue pits, pavilion as well as social spaces. And of course, with 748 units, I feel that weekend by the pool will be very lively. And some families will love that vibe, but some will prefer the quieter environment. So again, this is all about your own preference.
Yeah. So now let's geek out a little bit. Okay, we talk about the land bid, right? The developer margin, because this affects pricing. Alright, so if we take a look, okay, there are total 4 bidders for this site that we're talking about.
Yep.
So that already tells us that there's a healthy confidence in this location. So the winning bid was 557 million, which works out to be 729 per square foot per plot ratio. So analysts expect between 650 to 750 per square foot per plot ratio. So this sits nicely within that band, not an outlier.
The second highest bid was about 705 per square foot per plot ratio. So I feel that the top bid wasn't wildly above. So this also suggests that the developer did not overpay just to win the land at all costs.
So the estimated break-even is around 1,326 per square foot if the expected starting price is above 1,639 per square foot. You are looking at roughly around 25% developer margin, which is healthy and pretty aligned with other recent EC launches like Aura of Tampines.
Yeah, I feel that this is also aligned to the current market, and this tells us that the developer is not greedy and gives owner the chance to earn money as well.
And this is so important. So now let's take a look at price matrix.
Yes, and this is the one that everybody is waiting for. So let's take a look at the popular 3-bedroom, which is 872 per square feet unit as an example.
Right, so if we take this particular unit as example, the projected starting from around $1.439 million works out to be about 1,650 per square foot. So for a brand new EC launching in 2026, I can say that this is attractive entry price, especially comparing to the private condominium nowadays. So for example, Pasir Ris 8. So we have already seen transactions at about $2,200 per square foot.
Yeah, and with the full price matrix, you'll be able to see how each layout sits in terms of the quantum as well as the PSF across the different stacks. And you can actually decide then what's your comfort level and budget.
So as usual, our advice to all our clients is don't just look at cheapest. Look at value. Value in terms of the layout, the facing, the livability and exit potential.
So now let's take a look at the 3-bedroom layout. So I feel that this will be the one that's most popular because we are mainly looking at 872 square feet to 915 square feet, including the standard, the premium and study options. So at the projected launch prices, the difference between some of the layouts can be around 71,000.
So, I mean, interesting point they just pointed out. So from our point of view, the 3-bedroom plus proper study tends to actually offer stronger practicality. So a full usable room for work from home, for kids' homework, for hobbies is actually very valuable for many families. So rather than a half study paired with a WC tucked in the kitchen, it feels that this is more functional and more future-proof.
Yeah. Moving on to the 4-bedders, we have them ranging from 990 to 1,055 square feet, with prices starting around 1.634 million at 1,650 per square foot.
So here is one interesting point. For about $36,000 more, you can essentially get a layout where bedroom 4 becomes big enough to fit a queen bed comfortably, and you can get windows and better natural light.
Yes, I feel that for a family that really needs 4 proper rooms, this is not just a 3+1 tiny room. This small uplift in price actually could translate into a much better livable layout.
And aside from that, we also have like the 4-bedroom plus study, or some people call it the flexi layout.
Yeah, and at this benchmark per square foot of about 1,650, you are looking at potentially 1.9 million to about 2 million for this.
Yes, so what I personally like about the 1,163 square feet layout is the thoughtful design. So it comes with the walk-in wardrobe, a hackable study that sits strategically between the master bedroom and the bedroom 2. And this gives homeowners that incredible flexibility we are talking about, because they can essentially convert it into a larger master suite, or maybe a private work from home corner, a nursery, or even a dressing room. So it adapts to different life stages, and that's what makes it so beautiful.
Yeah, and I feel that for about 80,000 more, enabling such a layout with a landscape living room, which many buyers prefer for a wider frontage and brightness, is something that most would consider. Lastly, for the 5-bedroom units, we have them ranging from 1,367 all the way up to 1,421 square foot. So price roughly about 2.256 million all the way up to 2.345 million.
So this is really for those big families, or those who really value long-term comfort and space. Because in this largest layout, you get 5 proper bedrooms, a large landscape balcony that extends all the way to bedroom 4, and to me, that just means more light, more airflow, and a nice continuous frontage. But something to note, okay, is that since EC is limited by MSR, to afford this 5-bedroom, you got to be cash rich.
Yeah.
So you literally need to have a lot of money.
Yeah.
So okay, now let's take a look at the MAPS framework. Okay, so and before we wrap up, let's do what we always do for our clients, to run Coastal Cabana through our MAPS framework.
Yep, I feel that this part is very important, because not every project suits every buyer. And with the MAPS framework, I feel that it breaks down and help people with clearer decision making without guessing.
Right, so now let's take a look at macro. So I believe by now you already know. So macro looks at the region-wide supply versus demand. And for Pasir Ris, okay, the numbers shows that overall demand is below OCR average.
Yep, and even though 1 and 2 beders are shown green in the supply-demand index, but Coastal Cabana does not have 1 or 2 beders. It is a full family EC with 3 bedrooms and above. And in the Pasir Ris region, 3, 4, 5 beders are showing signs of lower demand as compared to the OCR average.
So macro-wise, not a deal breaker, right? But it is a signal to be cautious, especially if your plan is to exit the moment you achieve MOP. Okay, so now let's take a look at area.
Yep, so now let's move on to the area score. This is where Coastal Cabana shines. There is 13 blocks of HDBs that is within 1 km that will MOP from 2028 onwards. So what does that mean?
So this means that when you reach your MOP, you have a built-in pool of HDB upgrader who can essentially form your future buyer base.
Yes, and on top of that, we have the future GRS sites, which is near the Pasir Ris MRT, which will naturally help to lift up the prices around the area, which this spillover effects actually benefits Coastal Cabana indirectly.
So area-wise, this part is definitely positive, especially for long-term value.
So now let's take a look at the price gap, which for EC usually is the strongest pillar.
So right, to understand price behavior, we always analyze nearby project. For Pasir Ris, Sea Horizon is a good reference because it is an EC that TOP'd in 2016. So today, Sea Horizon transacts between 1,167 to 1,467 per square foot, averaging around 1,281 per square foot. So then there's a 12-year age gap between Sea Horizon and Coastal Cabana. So if we assume a conservative appreciation of 40 per square foot per year, that's about $480 per square foot across 12 years. And we add that to Sea Horizon average price, you get roughly about 1,761 per square foot. So when we take a look at Coastal Cabana, which projected to be starting at 1,650 per square foot. So we know that Coastal Cabana is coming in kind of below fair value even after accounting for the age difference. So from a price gap perspective, I can say that Coastal Cabana is indeed very attractive.
Yes, I agree.
So what do you think about the site?
So for site, we take a look things such as unit count, nearby competition, as well as liquidity. A project with 748 units is actually healthy. With more transactions, more liquidity, results in potential for faster price increase. But here's the thing, Coastal Cabana is not near the MRT, so we must take a look at how nearby non-MRT's EC perform. So with supply-demand ratios of these nearby projects are actually below OCR average. So this potentially means that exit could drag.
If we put all of this together, Coastal Cabana has a strong price gap due to it being an EC, okay, and positive area upside due to the large volume of future HDB upgraders. However, we must note that macro and site indicate below average demand surrounding the area, which signals a need for caution when entering. So there is a need to deep dive into specific layout types and bedroom sizes to understand their individual demand and supply.
Yes, I agree. If you would like us to run through Coastal Cabana with our MAPS framework based on your situation, you can always reach out to us.
So no pressure, no obligation, just a conversation to help you see clearly.
So thank you so much for spending time with us. If you find that this is helpful, please like, subscribe and share. And we'll see you in the next one.
Like our content, subscribe for more.